name's Fire and welcome back to Conan Exiles. Today I got a certain subject to talk with you about because it may or may not affect your gameplay in the future because of this official decision by Funcom. This pretty much just got brought to my attention and it has happened before, but this time we have like an official statement on it, so we kind of know what's going on. So basically, there was some complaints about world bosses being blocked on official servers, and this can happen on unofficial servers as well. I went around the entire map finding all of the bosses that you can block with foundations, and my goodness, it is over about 70% of them, probably more just on this map alone. If you're looking for viable spots to farm bosses with this new kind of change of rules, then keep an eye on the video and I will update you on the bosses you can actually farm to get skeleton keys for this particular issue. But I think the biggest issue with this being a thing, a new rule, that players are allowed to block boss spawns, is that also goes the same for skeleton key chests that are right next to them. So you can literally do this. Boom. Nobody's getting it. It's not going to spawn there anymore. You have blocked the skeleton key chest. You could do this to a lot of the skeleton key chests on the map. And if you let players like build all over the boss spawns, they're also going to build over the top of skeleton key chests. Now, why is this an issue? In the Age of War, Funcom did a big update which reworked legendary items to decay, you know. They will break over time, which means that you will need to go and find more of these sets of stuff. Now, with this being a rule that players can do this legally and no problem at all on official servers, this means the circulation and supply of legendary weapons and items is going to be restricted big time. And if you're on a server where people will do this for fun, like something on PvP, well, it's going to be a huge problem because the amount of skeleton chests and bosses you have access to are going to diminish rapidly, and you will only be able to go to a very few places to be able to actually open up chests with keys or get keys in general. So this pretty much means the legendary weapons that you need to farm now that are going to break after use after a while, well, it's going to be a lot harder to get your hands on legendaries. That's just how it's going to be, especially on maps like the Exiled Lands. This will also happen in Siptah because this is allowed now, apparently. And just to show you some confirmation that this is allowed from an official person on the forums, you can see after some internal discussion it is decided blocking bosses is no longer against our official server rules. I think this is a huge mistake. This has not been thought out at all when it comes to the Age of War, because the Age of War is restricting legendaries already, and now you're actively letting players do the same. Which is incredibly silly considering your own rules tell you blocking the content in the game, such as dungeons, obelisks, lore stones, recipes, resources, unique NPCs, and other areas of the game, is not allowed on official servers. Now, if you're on a good unofficial server, you may be in luck for that one and not have this problem. As long as the staff this over, you'll probably be alright. But it's just letting you know that this is a thing, and I think officials going to be affected the worst out of the lot on this one, especially now they've made this an official thing. I can see people purposefully going out there and blocking chests and bosses. They already do, but they will be doing it more. So what can you do? What fixes this? What bosses can you go for now if every boss gets blocked on the map? Well, take a look at my map here. I've marked out most of the bosses in the world, and I can show you which ones you can actually do now and which ones you can't if someone has blocked it. This is not going to take me long at all because there's not actually that many bosses that you can get keys from that are in non-build areas. There's actually a lot of bosses in build areas, which means this is a huge issue. So one of the bosses you can get without this problem, you cannot build here, so you cannot block this boss, is this one. She'll give you a key, so you can kill her for her key. She is here on the map. Also, there is a boss in there. You'll still be able to farm her out. People cannot block the boss in the witch tunnel over there. The other place you can still farm keys from is where the snake boss is, in this tunnel in the arena area, where you'd go to the pit. So over here, boss good, arena, sinkhole, all of that. There is a snake in this tunnel. You also have the dragon inside, and you'll be able to farm these. Particularly the snake, you should be able to get a skeleton key out, and it is right at the end of the tunnel. The other bosses you can grab that exist on the map that are in non-build areas is any boss in the unnamed city. They are also blocked for building, including the one up here. You can still access all the unnamed city bosses, so that is a thing you can do. And the chests, those cannot be blocked unless your server has special restrictions on it, or something like a building restrictions mod, where that might be a thing. But again, that's for unofficial admins to regulate. The other place is in this cave where there is a demon spider boss. So you go in there, demon spider boss down there, and you can get keys out of that one. You cannot build in there, so it cannot be blocked. And one of the last places you can do this is Circle of Swords. There is a root boss that spawns there, and you cannot build in this area, so you can still get the key out of this one, thankfully. Oh look, there he is now. He's just bashing up some wolves by the looks of it. I may have missed a few, but that gives you a good idea. So the ones I found are literally, I can count it on one hand. There's 5 bosses that you can go for that will give you keys on the map, which is going to make it incredibly difficult if you're on a PvP server that is active, because those people can gatekeep these areas now, or just keep farming them so you can't get them. That's what's going to happen if this continues, pretty much. So that is a thing. It's not great. I don't like it at all. And I think it's a terrible decision. It was not thought through at all. This is going to be horrible for people wanting to play in the Age of War that want to delve into the legendary category, because it's going to be so much more restricted if people do block these areas. Now, what can you do? You could try and be a decent human being and not block these areas, but people will do this to troll 100%. That's just how it goes. We're in the gaming world. People do these things for fun, okay? Now, the 5 I showed you, now have a look at my map. All the skulls I've marked are bosses. These things can all be blocked, okay? Minus the ones that say boss good in the areas I have shown you. So that boss can be blocked, 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 both of them can be blocked. That boss can be blocked, that boss can be blocked, 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 blocked. You get the idea. There's over, I don't know, 25 bosses on here that can all be built on. And all those legendary chest areas, you can also build on those. So it's pretty bad. It's going to really restrict you in areas you can go, just to be able to farm some bosses and play the game. So to be honest, I urge the team that controls these rules and official servers to re-review this idea, because it is very silly, especially that you can do this. Like, that is so silly that that's a thing. It's been a thing for ages, but it's a thing nonetheless. To be honest, if you wanted to fix this problem and people are built on these spots, do what other games do. Stick a big red circle around it and go, in a month's time, this is going to be a non-build area, and if you build here, your building's going to go poof. And then you put a non-restriction area so nobody can build over it from any height or depth or whatever. Just make it a thing so it cannot be blocked and the spawns can still, you know, move around so people can play the game. Otherwise, you're going to have very limited amounts of things you can do to be able to get chests like these, to unlock it and get your very precious loot that now cannot be repaired. Yeah? So I think it's very important they re-review this, because it's going to come a thing, and I can 100% people being arseholey about it and just blocking them all just to spite them. 100% I can see that. So when this got brought to my attention, I was like, 100% something needs to be said about this. Apparently they are banning people talking about it on the forums as well. That's what I've heard, so be careful there if you do complain. And I think this desperately needs fixing and amending, because it's a terrible idea to let people build on these important spots. And if they're still going to allow it, they need to definitely clarify it in the official server building restriction rules, 100%, because just reading it there, you'd think they would fall under that category, especially where it says unique NPCs, because a lot of them are very unique in the game. So if you are on a server that is deadly affected by this problem, then there you go. There's a few bosses you can go for. Just be careful, especially if you're on PvP, of people trying to get you now. Which, I mean, that might be fun for you. It might spice it up a bit, who knows? But just be aware that this is now a thing, and it is an allowed thing. Like I said, it's been a thing for a while, but now they're just saying, yeah, sure, you can do it. You know? Just openly. Oh dear. The one other thing that has been spoken about a lot is on Xbox Siptah. If you can't play it apparently at the moment, but they have turned off decay timers. So thankfully your stuff won't all go poof, and hopefully they will give a big old warning when they got it fixed so you can log in and make sure everything's okay. But basically they've just turned off the decay timer for now, so your base won't get destroyed if you can't join in on Xbox Siptah. Hopefully this gets fixed very soon. I know it was reported a while ago, and they have a fix around for it as well, if it helps. So there you go, have a read of that if you want to try that fix around and you can't join Siptah Xbox. Give that a go and let me know if it helped. But if it didn't, don't worry too much, just keep an eye on the news. I would 100%, especially on Twitter, because they will usually update you quite well on that one. Anyways, that's going to be all from me today. Let me know what you think about this current issue going on Exiles right now. I know it won't affect everybody, but it definitely will affect people on official servers, that being PvP or PvE. It could be even PvE people that can do that as well. And just be careful and courteous of others is what I would say. Be careful on the forums as well. As I said, I've noticed some people, and have been reported that some people are getting banned for talking about this topic. So just be polite as always, you know, and express concern, you know, just, you know, not aggressively. Hopefully they will re-amend this issue, because I think it's pretty terrible that it's blocking so many bosses and chests, especially when you need legendaries the most in the Age of War season. But anyway, thank you for watching, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!